Okay guys, here we are. The Angels of Death have come. So, the new Space Marine Codex is out tomorrow. If you're watching this today, on Friday, or you might be watching this after it's already out. So, I'm going to take you quickly through the book, show you some of the new stuff, obviously not too much of the new stuff, explain what's changed, a little bit, let's see some surprises, explain my thoughts on the idea, on some of the formations and everything. And yeah, go from there, I guess. Cool. So, as with all of GW's recent books, there's some amazing artwork in here. A lot of it's kind of old hash stuff, and some of it's brand new. It's all awesome though. And obviously, GW's photography is getting better and better. But these dirty towel being taken out by some of the Emperor's finest. So, in total, there are 200 pages in this book. There are 90 pages of story and profiles of the different chapters, effectively. So how to paint them, how to make them look right, should we say? However you want to paint them, whichever's way right for you, it doesn't really matter. But effectively, almost historical, if you know what I mean, like how people like in bolt action and everything to Flames of War to have specific army colours. This is effectively GW's way of showing you how to do that for Space Marines. Then we have the Champions of Humanity, which is, I'll show you a quick table of contents. So Champions of Humanity, which is the basically the Pharaoh section, showing off the core set of miniatures. Then you have Forces of Space Marines, which takes up a massive amount of the book, which is the data sheets for each of the units, the formations, the Lords of War, of which there are only one, is Marnus Kalgar, or Marnius Kalgar, how you pronounce his name, the chapter master of the Ultramarines, everyone's favourite chapter. And then you gain all the other chapters' special characters as well, so Lysander, Captain Shrike, Kasaru Khan, all the usual names return, Pedro Cantor, the Emperor's Champion, which obviously from the last book, but he's back again. Then you have the Warlord traits, the special rules of relics. So relics didn't really change, so basically it's like the same as they were before. So it's kind of like a Space Marine Codex 2.0, so it's not exactly a brand new book essentially, it's just an update. It's making them a bit more in line with 7th edition. Some nice changes, some good changes in my opinion. I think this book is pretty good. So let's go through. So as I said, got all this nice new artwork. This is really cool. So it's almost like a mix of digital and normal art. So that crazy ironclad at the bottom, it's really good. So you go through. Obviously, you got all the different. Some like this one is an old piece of artwork from the last edition, which I just put back in again. But it's good enough that new people that haven't seen it before get to see it, and it's nice artwork anyway, regardless. You've got some nice stories, some good artwork. You got the chapter organization, which is pretty good. So you got all the different companies and everything. Got some stories and everything, as you expect. A cool star map about all the different chapters, and then all the different chapters like the White Scars, the Ultramarines, the Imperial Fists, the Templars and the Crystal Fists, Salamanders. That guy is in Mark III plate, so that's nice to see in artwork. I think I might have missed that last time I saw that. And then you got Raven Guard, Iron Hands. He's going to take that orc on even with missing an arm. You see that? It's pretty cool. Yeah, so you go through all the artwork, all the usual stuff, explaining the different companies, all the different chapters and everything, explaining the structures of all the Space Marine chapters and everything. You get the history line, like they've been doing in all the books recently. I think they did them before. This is a different way of doing it, where it goes down the line rather than just listing dates, which is good. Good for new players, good for old players, a bit of new fluff and everything. And then you get into essentially the bestiary, the areas where it goes on about each different unit. Gives you a bit of fluff, a bit of storyline. Superstars is kind of disappointing when in some of the 6th edition codexes, or 7th edition codexes I should say, they basically removed that and essentially just had all their bestiaries as their data sheets. Which I was a bit disappointed with, but I'm glad that the Eldar book has brought it back and the Space Marine book now. So you get all these cool like art, some of it's obviously new, like Centurion, Assault Centurion, some bikes and everything, speeders, devastators, the whole lot. All the usual, what you expect from GW. And then come across. So yeah, we keep going, more of the art. And then you get this sort of stuff, which is really good, especially for painters. So it gives you all like banner ideas and tactical squad markings and squad insignia, and it gives you what the Marines would look like with their armours and how those sort of changes, and like the helmets, how you can pick the helmets for different sergeants. And then chapter characters, so like captains, chaplains, support staff like the Tech Marine and the apothecaries. And you get all their vehicles. The Ultramarines are obviously the main focus of the book, but you get some successors, and you get successors for obviously the Ultramarines, and you get the other chapters that were legions, and you get some of their successors, which will generally the Imperial Fist obviously you get the Crimson Fists and the Black Templars, Raven Guard, White Scar Sixes. So there's plenty of good artwork in this book. And then you get like these photographs, these full spreads. Zoom in a little bit on these ones. So you get like the Tower taking on the Space Marines, which is always nice to see. The Champions of Humanity section is essentially just all the different photographs that you see in the different Space Marine book. So you can see all the models, how they would be painted in the specific colours. It's nice just to have a glance through and get inspired by some of the artwork. Like Eldar taking on the Ultramarines. I think this is the 3rd company. I believe 3rd company is red. And then, some additional inspiration. Imperial Fists, which are my favourites. They're Terminators led by Lysander there. Some Raven Guard. Yeah, so it's a pretty good spread. It's pretty good. These are like the top of the line models. These are the ones they definitely want to show off. They put a lot of time and effort into these ones, which are really nice. And it's good to see some of the new models, like here in the corner you got the Grav cannon with the Grav out. And then after that, you get into rules. Now this is interesting. So this is the Gladius Strike Force, which is essentially the same as the Forces of the Craftworlds and the Decurium for the Necrons. So, but this time it's obviously based more around a battle company as of the Space Marines rather than anything else. So, in order to take the Gladius Strike Force, you have to take 1 to 2 core, 1 auxilia, and 3 to 0 to 3 command. So, you get the benefits of being able to take, first of all, because you're a strike force, you get the Clerics Astartes, so you can act the combat doctrines. This is basically the only way to get it unless you're Ultramarines. And then you have company support, so as long as you take 2 battle enemy companies, which are a formation themselves, you gain special rules. In this case, it's being able to take transports essentially for free. You may take, as long as you take 2 Gladius Strike Forces, as long as one of them has a captain in and one of them has a chaplain in, you can take all of your transports for those units for free, as long as they are Rhinos, Razorbacks, or Drop Pods, which is really good, because then you can effectively take the Drop Pod assault force without having to pay there's 10 squads, so that's at least 350 points. Then obviously from the Dreadnoughts if you want any command squads or anything. So that's really good. It's a really good chunk. And then obviously the auxiliaries, so you've got like the 1st Company Task Force, the Armoured Strike Force, Task Force. So little units that generally in the stories have always been seconded to other companies, like battle companies, because that's generally the 1st company is sent out to aid battle companies rather than go by themselves. And it explains how to use these. And obviously all the different versions on obviously like Cantor and librarians and all that stuff. And you get the war gear page, which is obviously as normal, so it tells you what the war gear can do. So it doesn't tell you the stats of the war gear, but it tells you how many points are. And this is obviously a reference page to every unit will refer to this rather than constantly giving you the point cost again and again. So it's pretty much the same as before. There's no real changes to it. And then obviously you get into the, so you go to special characters, Tigers or Tigerius, Captain Sicarius, which are good characters. A few Warlord's traits have changed. You see Telion is now no longer a scout upgrade, he is a HQ by himself, so he can be taken to lead a strikes force for the scout company if you wished. You've got Kronos, you got your Khan, you got Vulcan and Strike. Yeah, you get all these special characters. Lysander, he kind of got a bit better, also a bit worse. He did get given Iron Resolve is his Warlord trait, which gives him Feel No Pain, which is kind of cool. But his hammer is no longer Strength 10 base. Pedro Cantor, he got better, he got our Fighters for armor now, so he's no longer walking around in power armor, so at least that's a bit better for him. And he's pretty much the same as he was before. He makes Stern Guard objective secured now though, so not just troops as he used to before, but now full on objective secured. Well, he'd made them scoring before, so essentially the same thing. You get the Black Templars in here, so the rumours of their demise have been greatly exaggerated. You got captains and librarians as normal. Tech Marines are now there. There's no such thing as a Master in the Forge anymore. It's all Tech Marines and they got a boost, which is good to see. Including the Tech Marines from the Thunderfire cannons, they got a boost as well. You got your chaplains, you got your tactical squads, you got your scouts. So pretty much everything's still here as normal before. Your command is a big thing. So your command squad and your honor guards no longer require either a chapter master or a HQ unit, such as a captain, to take anymore. Now they can be taken purely as elite, which is, so you might see some more honor guard, but you can see some more command squads, especially those biker command squads that everyone seems to love. These Salt Centaurians, they didn't really change. They're pretty much the same as they were before. They're not bad, but yeah, not the greatest Centaurians. Centaurians you normally see are the devastator ones. Vanguard got a boost, so the heroic intervention now allows them to reroll one or both dice when charging, which is really powerful, and no longer suffer the benefit of dishonored charges. So essentially fleet for free, so they can use the jump packs in the movement phase and then use this to basically get them into combat. And that no penalty for dishonored charge means they can go everywhere, so kill a vehicle and kill a unit at the same time. It's pretty good. Stern Guard are pretty much the same. Dreadnoughts across the board got a boost, so they all got to a base attack of 4, which is really good for a walker, especially given it's power fist. And they can be taken in units now instead of just individual, so that's really good in my opinion. Ironclads got better. Legion of Damned are pretty much the same as they were before. They're not allowed to take grav weapons still, so it's just pretty much the same as before. A Terminator's got cheaper across the board. It is the same cost to take a Vietnam Stormshield Terminator model as it did before, but yeah, it's still pretty good. Tactical Terminator's got cheaper, which is good. The Assault Squad is pretty much the same as before. Scout Bikers got a bit better. Scouts across the board got better because their weapon skill, business skill is now 4 rather than the usual 3 as it was before. So they're back to being Space Marines that are just waiting to get their armour, which is pretty good. Bike Squads, it kept the rule where they could become a troop unit, but they changed it slightly. So now any special character, independent character that leads the army with a bike gives it to them instead of just having to be a captain, which is pretty good. Attack bikes are back. Land Speeder Storm, Land Speeders, Rhinos, Razorbacks, all the usual goings. Now this is a good thing. So Rhinos, Razorbacks and drop pods have all become fast attack. So you don't need them to be a dedicated transporter to take them anymore. So you could see some Grav Centaurians turning up in the drop pod sometime soon without having to ally with another chapter. Storm Talons are back in. Devs are back. They're pretty much the same as they were before. Dev Centaurians are the same. Thunderfire cannons. So here's a good thing. So Thunderfire cannons can now be taken in units of up to 3. When there is 3 of them, they gain an extra business skill, and Tech Marines got a business skill bonus base for being Tech Marines now, and they got an extra wound. So they went up really well. They got a really good will in this book. But Thunderfire cannons have always been good, and they got even better. Thunderfire cannons are awesome. Predator tanks, they can be taken in squadrons, as was rumoured. They get special benefit when they do. Same for whirlwinds and vindicators. So pretty much saying hunters and stalkers can be taken in units. They also get benefits as before, as long as there's 3 of them in a unit. Storm ravens, from what I could tell, pretty much stayed the same. I think they may have got a bit cheaper on their guns. I'm not quite sure. I didn't really use storm ravens in the last edition. I'm more of a Storm Eagle sort of guy. So it's good to have a look there. Land Raiders and Crusaders and everything pretty much stay the same. I think Crusaders got a bit more expensive. They went back up to their original price, I believe. Mine was Calgar. He's still good. I fairly certain he lost unwieldy on his weapons. I fairly certain he had unwieldy in the last one, but now he's just straight up punch you in the face at initiative 5, which is pretty good in my opinion. And then obviously you get to the formations. The Battle Demi Company, which effectively you take 2 of them to make a battle company, gives you objective secure, which is really good. And then they have other rules to do with the doctrines, which is really good. And obviously you get choices and everything. So and they very much, most normal Space Marine armies could fix to them, so it's not much of a change, and they can get extra benefit. So yeah, fair enough. You get anti-air defense force, tight strike force, strike force ultra, which seems very good. Obviously, it's a Terminator-based army, the first company, but it gives you some extra benefits when you turn up from deep strike. It's pretty much the drop assault, orbital assault from Right of War from the Horus Heresy, kind of, in the sense that everyone has to either deep strike in or transport in by a thing that can deep strike, or must be in reserves. So you could have them in a Land Raider, have it in reserves, and then you get Kuzium's Clan Squad, you get Company Task Force, Stormwing, so you get quite a few formations, which is pretty good. The Librarius, the Spearhead, the Armored Strike Force, Suppression Force, all the usual. I know some people may remember this, but Suppression Force was a Apocalypse Force, or Apocalypse formation, which have essentially just made it into a normal formation. So you don't have to take it in Apocalypse, which is an interesting idea. Potential for the future. We'll see what they do there. This is an awesome page. Some orcs getting roughed up by the Ultramarines, which is always good, especially because my dad plays orcs, so it's nice to see them get beat down by some of my fellow Space Marine armies. So, we'll get to Warlord traits, chapter tactics, and we get to combat squads. Combat squads pretty much stay the same. The Warlord traits got better because a lot of them are no longer one use only or specific things. So the Warlord traits pretty much got to you get some good ones, like you can make fear tests on 3d6, obviously not great against other Space Marines, but against other stuff it's okay. You get first charge per unit, and the best one in my opinion, or one of the best ones at least, there are 2 pretty good ones. So one is it gives your Warlord feel no pain, which can be extremely useful. And one of them is Storm of Fire, which is really good. So each shooting phase, you choose a unit within 12 and it gains rending on its range weapons. It's really good as a Warlord trait, in my opinion. Every turn, just being able to pump out and say, this unit's bolt guns get rending. It's pretty good. Chapter tactics pretty much stay the same. A big important thing to remember is that, say you wanted to put a Imperial Fist. Well, the example here is that if you want to put a Ultramarine unit into a Imperial Fist unit, they will both lose their chapter tactics. So I can imagine maybe they don't know how to do the same thing that we don't know how to do, so we don't really want to teach them, or we don't really, it's not enough time to teach them. So I kind of like that. It makes it so chapters have to stay to their own. The combat doctrines you only get if you are either an Ultramarine from the get-go, or if your special rule gives it to you. But a big part of that is if you gain several of the same ones, you may use them each time in the game as you have that many. So, one of the current things is if you take 2 demi companies, you gain 2 sets of the tactical ones. If you be an Ultramarine, you get 1 of each, and if you take Calgar, you can do double. So effectively you can have 4 sets of the combat doctrines, which is really good. Everyone else's chapter tactics pretty much stayed the same. Iron Hands got better, Imperial Fists got better, which is good news for me. The Bat Templars pretty much stayed the same. The Raven Guard pretty much stay the same. Little changes, but obviously we'll need some surprises. Wargear sections pretty much the same, not much change there. The relics are identical to what they were before. Obviously you have the tactical objectives, which is good, and then get to the reference page. And that's it for the Space Marine Codex. I would give it quite a high rating. I think it's a very good book. It's nice to see them change the book. for 7th edition, rather than just leave it 6th. I think it may be a bit too soon, but out of the way, rather than having to worry about doing it in the future. So yeah, I would give it my rating. I think it's a very good book. I think after having a bit of a read for it, I'd probably give it about an 8 out of 10. I think certain lists could easily be very good in this formation, in this meta in a minute, and very good for in general. It's a very good book for if you want to make fluffy armies as well. Gives you more of a spec for it. So I can imagine you seeing more like dreadnought armies, which would be cool, or biker armies a bit easier now, without having to take specific chapters or chapter tactics to do it. Overall, I think it's a very good book from GW, and I'm very happy to see it. It'll be interesting to see how they go forward with the other Space Marine chapters, such as the Blood Angels, the Dark Angels, all that stuff. I think the Blood Angels are pretty much the same, but obviously you can add across if you need to. With rumours of the Dark Angels coming very soon, I can see Dark Angels being very similar to this sort of book. It'd be nice to see them get a bit of an update. I'm not a big Dark Angel fan myself, but yeah, I know a lot of people that are, so it'd be nice to see them get something good. So one last thing I've got for you today is the data cards. So the data cards are pretty much the same as you've been expected from the normal data cards recently. So this time, instead of getting any sort of like special psychic powers or anything, you get the chapter tactics for each chapter. Obviously, like Imperial Fists, Raven Guard, White Scars, you know, the usual suspects. And you get one of each card of each of the doctrines. So you got Devastator, Tactical, and Assault. And you get your usual deck of cards. So you get 36 Tactical Objective cards as normal. Some of the standard ones like Recon here. Good materials, normal. And then obviously got the Space Marine on the side, the Ultramarine, rather than just the usual back. And you get the special ones for the Space Marines, rather than just being all the generic ones. So yeah, nice. It's always good to have a set of cards, and now having specific ones for the Space Marines rather than having to just use your normal ones is pretty good. I think that's a good point to make about the Codex, is that every time they release a Codex again, with the new set where they've been giving out data cards, you do get data cards, which is nice. Kind of makes the old ones kind of a bit redundant, but at least you got a choice, so you don't have to use the new ones if you don't want to. So I think overall, a very good release from Games Workshop, and I look forward to seeing some of the crazy Space Marine lists being made, and I myself will be making quite a few of them, hopefully. So here's Jack signing off. Cheers, guys.